Hey, it's Jeffrey Pepper Rogers here for Acoustic Guitar with another installment in a series on chord embellishment basics. In previous lessons talked about adding and changing notes in the open chord shapes using hammer-ons and pull-offs, sus and add chord voicings, and bluesy colors with the open chords. Now we're going to turn to the bottom of the chords, the all-important bass notes. Playing single bass notes is a great way to thin out your accompaniment so you're not continuously strumming. You can go a step further and create simple bass runs that lead from chord to chord, and that is the focus of this lesson. So we're going to start off with a series of examples that use bass runs to connect two chords, and then we will try out bass runs in a few classic chord progressions. So let's dig in. The foundation of all these examples is the bass strum style. A bass note followed by a chord strum referred to as the boom chuck or the boom chick or boom chang. So in the beginning of this first example, we're going to start on a G chord. So play a G bass note on the first beat and then strum on the second beat. And then I'm going to play a short bass run leading to the next chord, which is C. So we're just going to be walking up the fifth string like that. We're just walking up notes of the major scale. And when we get to the C, I'm going to be doing a bass strum on C, this time with an alternation. So bass note on the fifth string. I'm just shifting this finger over to the sixth string to grab that alternate bass note, that G on the sixth string third fret. So in this series of examples, we're going to play this exact same pattern from going from a G chord to a C chord, then a C to an F, an A to a D, and an E to an A. So I'm just going to take these two chords at a time, starting with G to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. C to F. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the F, I'm doing that alternation here, and I'm moving my ring finger from the fourth string down to the fifth string. Now, A to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm choosing to finger that A with a bar, but you could use a different fingering if you prefer. And then going from E to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in this next example, we'll use the same basic pattern, but starting on minor chords. So first, A minor to C, and then E minor to G, and finally, E minor to A minor. So as with the earlier example, the bass run is just climbing the corresponding scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go E minor to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now E minor to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also reverse any of these bass runs and descend from one chord to another. So here are a few examples. C going down to G, C going down to A minor, and then G going down to E minor. First, C to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. G to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. And G to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to show you a bass run going from G to D and then one going from D to G. Now when you're going from D to G, you could go from the open 4th string and walk it up to the open 3rd string, but that's pretty high and doesn't really sound that much like a bass note. So instead, I'm going to start on the bass note on the D here and then go all the way down and an octave and go to the open 6th string and walk it up to the G. So first, G to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then D to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also play bass runs that move chromatically in half steps or 1 fret at a time rather than sticking to scale notes. So in this next example, first we're going to go from a G chord to an A minor with a bass run that ascends from G to G sharp to A. We're going to do something similar from C to D minor with a bass run that goes C, C sharp, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. C to D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass runs don't always have to start on the root of the chord. In this example, I'm going to play a bass strum on an E major, and then a bass run that climbs the 5th string from A sharp to B. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the alternating bass on the B7 from the 5th string to the 6th string. Now here's a bass run that goes the opposite direction. I'm switching between E minor and A minor, but on the 5th string I'm going to play a bass run that goes from B to A sharp down to A for the A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. One song that uses a short chromatic bass run like this is the Grateful Dead's Ripple. The song is in G, but the chorus, the part that goes ripple in still water, kicks off with an A minor. So to transition between the G and the A minor, I'm going to do a bass run that walks down B, A sharp to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass runs really come to life when you use them in longer chord progressions. So here are a couple of examples inspired by classic songs. This next one is based on the verse progression of Neil Young's Comes a Time, which has an easygoing kind of country folk feel in the key of G. So we'll use bass runs throughout this progression to move from chord to chord, from G to B minor to D. We're going to walk down to an A minor and up to C. Here's how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this last example uses the progression from the great traditional song House of the Rising Sun. This song is in 6/8 time, so you can count the beats in 2 sets of 3. And the chords change almost every measure, so there are lots of opportunities to practice connecting bass runs. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Of course, you can overdo bass runs. You wouldn't want to use one for every chord change necessarily. It's important to leave space and not compete with vocals or other things going on in the music. But bass runs, when used tastefully, are a great tool for giving a little nudge to your chord progression and your groove. So I hope you got some ideas from this you can try out in your own songs. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jeffrey Pepper Rogers for Acoustic Guitar.